Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us together. Guide our discussion, grant us wisdom, and help us listen with open hearts to achieve a positive outcome for all involved. Amen.
Yes, sir. Commissioner Shuji Jokshan,
Present.
Commissioner Lori Hyde, Commissioner Nora Castaneda,
Here.
Commissioner Dr. Gary Wesson,
Here.
Commissioner Dr. Ray Callis,
Present.
Commissioner Vice Chair Tom Butler, and Chairman Rick Figueroa.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Take a motion, commissioners. So excuse that.
I make a motion to excuse the commissioners that are not present today, Chair.
Second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, public comments, Chairman, item C, we're accepting public comments. If there's anyone wishing to address the commission this matter, it's on agenda, you're here to test the case or rules with the item to be on the agenda. Please make sure you fill out a public comment form, and I'll call you up one at a time. I'll read these, since we have many, I'm gonna read these instructions one time so that we'll cover everybody speaking. Thank you for being here. Please state your name, who you represent. You have 3 minutes to speak. Please understand the commissioners are not allowed to ask questions or engage in discussion with you about anything that's not officially on the agenda. Please also understand that commissioners cannot hear any information about a criminal complaint or enforcement case because we may be ultimately the decision maker in that case. All right. I'm going to go with Tasha Moore. Good to see you.
Morning.
Ms. Moore, thank you for serving on the advisory committee.
Oh, absolutely. It's an honor to serve. Good morning, Chair and Vice Chair and Commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to speak and to hear me today. My name is Tasha Mora, and I'm a licensed vehicle storage facility owner in Texas. I'm here to discuss the topic of the related fees to storage and the VSF fees that are up for the biennium adjustment. In addition to being a licensed vehicle owner, licensed vehicle storage facility owner in Texas, I also serve as a vice president and legislative chair of the Southwest Tow Operators Towing Association, which represents licensed storage facility owners across the state. And I appreciate the seriousness for which the commission approaches the role. And I want to share some information on an issue that's real and has material consequences for the resident. I'd like to focus on the biennial CPI-based rate adjustment for vehicle storage facilities. The legislature has established a clear framework in the occupations code. In no later than November 1st, the commission may adjust the vehicle storage facility rates based on the consumer price index. That structure exists so that regulated rates remain connected to the economic reality over time. November 1st, 2025 has now passed and the adjustment has not occurred. From the perspective of the regulated licensing, this is not a procedural technicality. The CPI reflects the compounding effects of the rising costs over time, including our labor costs, insurance costs, the utilities, compliance requirements, and the business property taxes, which are especially significant because vehicle storage facilities rely heavily on real property value. When the CPI adjustment is delayed or skipped, the statute's economic balancing mechanism effectively stops functioning. I want to pardon me, I am very nervous.
Don't take.
Thank you, I appreciate that. For those, just take your time and the commission understands. I want to address directly the statutory language, specifically the word may in that language. Respectfully, may should not be read to mean that the CPI process itself is optional. Rather, the discretion lies in the results of the calculation, not in whether the calculation is performed. The commission may adjust rates upward or downward depending on the CPI. But when the CPI shows inflation, as it has, the statute anticipates a corresponding adjustment to the rate. Importantly, the commission has already applied this same framework to prior cycles, implementing the CPI base adjustments in 2019, 2021, and 2024, which establishes a clear precedent. As licensed vehicle storage facilities, we are permitted to charge for only three things in our business. So VSFs can only charge for three things. That's for storage, for impoundment, and the required notice to vehicle owners. And two of those charges are adjusted solely by statute. We are not allowed to adjust those rates. And when the biennial adjustment deadline is missed, as in this biennium and the last biennium, vehicle storage facilities have no ability to recoup any losses that we experience, any economic loss caused by the delay, which makes this timely implementation essential. If the legislature had intended for the commission to decide whether to act at all, there would be little reason to include three factors. One, the legislator has a odd number of years in the factoring, a deadline of November 1st, and also uses a CPI as a measuring tool. Those three elements exist to provide consistency, the predictability, and to avoid subjective or inconsistent decision-making. I'm respectfully submitting that the commission has both the authority and the responsibility to implement the 2025 CPI adjustment at the earliest procedurally available opportunity and without further postponement. My ask is simple. I ask the commission to move forward with the CPI rate adjustment that's consistent with the statute structure and the intent, and to do so promptly. The licensees of Texas are depending on this decision. It is, and the CPI has been adjusted. It shows the rate cost of inflation is. We are respectfully asking for you to consider that. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Angel Moore. Give me a 3-minute heads up.
Yes.
I gave you the last 2 minutes. You understand, good morning. You understand what I read earlier?
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
Good morning, Chair and Commissioner. Thank you for allowing me to speak today. My name is Angel Mora. I am a vehicle storage facility owner, and my wife and business partner, Tasha Mora, and I have been in business for 23 years. I'm here to speak from the day-to-day side of the issue as someone who operates under these rules every day. As business owners, our costs keep increasing: insurance, payroll, utilities, maintenance, and especially property taxes. Vehicle storage facilities rely on land, security, fencing, lighting, and equipment, and all that costs more every year. But our rates don't change unless the CPI adjustment happens. We are allowed to charge for only three things: storage, impoundment, and required notices to vehicle owners. Two of these changes can only be adjusted through statute and rule. This means that the adjustment is that means that when the adjustment is delayed, we have no other way of covering rising costs. We depend on the commission to make these adjustments, and with costs like insurance rising sharply and few coverage options available, timely action really matters to businesses like ours. When the annual adjustment deadline is missed, as it has been this volume and the last, there is no way to make that lost time up. Once it's gone, it's gone. The CPI adjustment exists to keep regulated businesses like ours in step with real world costs, so we can continue operating safely and responsibly. This isn't a new idea. The commission has adjusted these rates before. We're not asking for anything special. We're asking for the system that's already in place to be carried out on time. I respectfully ask the commission to move forward with the 2025 CPI adjustment as soon as possible. Thank you for your time, Lisa.
DJ Treadway. Good morning, Mr. Oakley. You understand the rules, Secretary?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the commission. My name is CJ Treadway. I'm representing the Texas Towing and Storage Association, and I'm here today reporting your decision to not do the biannual CPI adjustment of vehicle storage facility fees as allowed by law. The Texas Towing and Storage Association, or TTSA, is the oldest towing and vehicle storage association in the state. TTSA provides education and training to its members and advocates for the industry at the local, state, and national level. For more than 50 years, TTSA has worked with the Texas legislature and executive branch agencies to promote a fair and safe climate for its customers and a healthy business environment for the industry. The industry is comprised of mostly micro and small businesses, with many that have been family owned and operated for generations. Generally, micro and small businesses are harder hit by inflation than larger businesses because there are thinner margins, less cash flow, lower bargaining power with suppliers, and fewer resources to absorb rising costs for supplies, labor, and operations. Additionally, unlike most businesses, Texas vehicle storage facilities are not allowed to adjust charges to account for increased costs because fees are set in statute. These fees have not been increased since 2007, so even a small biennial adjustment is critical to the industry. Therefore, the Texas Towing and Storage Association respectfully requests that you reconsider your decision. Thank you for your time.
David Smith. Mr. Smith, you understand the rules I read earlier?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me. My name is David Smith. As with Tasha and Angel, I am also a vehicle storage facility owner in Williamson County and in Travis County. I am here for the same reason, to ask that the commission definitely reexamine the CPI increase. And I think my justification is very simple. It's something that we can all relate to because we live in our daily lives. Your insurance has gone up. Our insurance has gone up. The price to buy a new vehicle has more than doubled in the towing industry. The taxes for anything right now have gone up, as we all know. So the walkaway is, I would love to ask you all to reexamine this and push this forward, mainly because this is real world. We all know the challenges we've been facing since 2020, and the cost increases have been absolutely phenomenal. So, looking at just anything across the board that we do, labor costs, workers' comp insurance, truck insurance, fuel, anything else has gone up insanely, at least 50%. A lot of it is actually double. So again, I won't take your time, but just quickly, I'd like to ask you to please reexamine the CPI increase as it helps us employ more people and helps us stay in business. And again, as all of you know, we've all been stuck in traffic many, many times. Without the tow trucks, we're gonna sit there a lot longer. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Daniel and Horton.
Good morning, Chair and Commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Danielle Norton. I work in hiring, onboarding, training, and coaching employees for 2 licensed vehicle storage facilities in Austin, Texas. I also hold a required industry license, which I pay for myself, including the annual renewal. I also want to share that I started in this industry as a vehicle storage facility employee, and today I train VSF employees and assist ownership with operational and financial oversight. That gives me a clear view of how regulated rates affect both employees and the business that employs them. I want to speak from the perspective of the workforce side of vehicle storage facilities. Our employees are licensed, regulated professionals. They are responsible for the processing and preservation of vehicles received for storage from collisions, DUI arrests, warrant arrests, and illegal parking. For accepting those vehicles into storage in compliance with state requirements, and for releasing vehicles only to authorized owners or representatives through a process outlined in rules and regulations. This isn't entry-level work. It requires training, accuracy, judgment, and accountability. Today, we're competing with fast food and retail employees for the same workforce, yet the responsibilities are not comparable. Vehicle storage employees handle regulated property, work with damaged and sometimes hazardous vehicles, and are increasingly required to follow new procedures for electrical vehicles, including safety protocols and technology systems. At the same time, the labor market is extremely competitive, especially in Austin, where the cost of living is high. For employees who live outside the city like myself, long commutes add time and expense. It's becoming harder to offer a livable wage that reflects the regulatory requirements of the job, the cost of maintaining a required license, and the responsibility and risk involved in the work. Vehicle storage facilities can only adjust expenses such as pay, training, technology, and safety programs when the regulated rates allow for it. When the CPI-based rate adjustment is delayed, it directly limits our ability to invest in employees, safety training, and the tools required to do the job properly. This affects not just the business, but the people doing the work, us Texans. The CPI adjustment process exists to keep regulated rates aligned with the real-world conditions. From a workforce and training standpoint, timely implementation is essential. I respectfully ask the commission to move forward with the 2025 CPI adjustment as soon as procedural possible. Thank you for your time listening.
Jordan? Greenville? I'm not sure if I got that right. Do you understand the rule?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Go ahead.
Good morning, Chair and Commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Jordan Tringali. I'm the Fleet Operations Supervisor for a licensed tow company that operates 2 licensed vehicle storage facilities in Texas. My responsibility is overseeing a day-to-day fleet operations, safety operations, compliance execution, and risk management. I want to speak from the perspective of how these rules work in real-world operations. Vehicle storage today is significantly more complex than it was even a few years ago. We manage vehicles received from collisions, DUI arrests, warrant arrests, and illegal parking. Many of these vehicles are damaged, disabled, or present safety hazards. Increasingly, we are also handling electric vehicles, which introduce new risks related to battery integrity, fire potential, and storage requirements. Safe operations depend on properly trained staff, adequate staffing levels, appropriate equipment, and sufficient time to follow procedures correctly. When staffing is tight or turnover is high, risk increases. Mistakes don't happen because people don't care. They happen because experience, training, and time matter. From an operations standpoint, regulated rates directly affect our ability to retain experienced employees, schedule and conduct training, invest in safety equipment and facility improvements, and update procedures as vehicle technology changes. When CPI-based rate adjustments are delayed, it limits operational flexibility. Decisions that should be proactive become reactive. That increases exposure for employees, vehicle owners, and for the public safety. My role is to prevent incidents before they happen. That requires stable staffing, proper training, and adequate resources. Without timely rate adjustments, maintaining those safeguards become more difficult. This is not about cutting corners. It's about having the capacity to do the job the right way every time. The CPI adjustment process exists to keep regulated operations aligned with real-world costs and conditions. From an operational and safety standpoint, timely implementation matters. I respectfully ask the Commission to move forward with the 2025 CPI adjustment as soon as procedurally possible so vehicle storage facilities can continue to operate safely, compliantly, and responsibly. Thank you for your time and your consideration.
Thank you, Charles. Trago Schumate. Do you understand the rules of regular?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, Commissioners. My name is Travis Schumate. I'm the Director of Operations for towing company, operates 6 VSF facilities in Texas. And as a member of Southwest Co-operator Association here in Texas, I'm here today to stress how critical it is that regulating towing and storage rates are updated to reflect today's reality. Our industry is facing unprecedented increases in today's cost of doing business. property taxes continue to rise year after year. The cost of towing equipment, trucks, winches, dollies, and replacement parts have increased significantly. Insurance, fuel, compliance costs have all gone up, yet regulation remains largely stagnant. At this time, vehicles are required to tow and store and are changing rapidly. New vehicle designs, especially with electric vehicles, require additional training, specialized knowledge, and stricter procedures to avoid damage and safety hazards. The training is not optional and it is not inexpensive. Companies must invest more into their operators to meet today's standards. In addition, vehicle storage facilities are now being forced to adapt to electric vehicles. EVs present a unique risk, including fire hazards and storage spacing requirements. To safely accommodate them, VSF yards must be modified. That means real out-of-pocket expenses for materials, construction, safety equipment, and increased labor, all before vehicles can enter our yards. These are not upgrades for convenience. They are necessary to protect public safety and our employees, first responders, and surrounding properties. The biannual CPI has missed many towing companies and vehicle storage facilities, especially small and mid-sized operations, will struggle to survive. When towing companies fail, it doesn't just hurt the industry, it impacts law enforcement, stranded motorists, and the public at large who rely on the timely professional towing services. We're not asking for an excessive increase. We're asking for rates to reflect the actual cost of safely operating in today's environment so we can continue to serve our communities responsibly. Thank you for your time considering real world impact on our industry.
More, thank you for your team being here. Very good. I know it took time for you to be here, so we appreciate your comments.
Thank you.
All right, commissioners, we're gonna go to item D, executive session, to consult with attorney under section 551.071, subsection 1, 551.071, subsection 2, and 551.074 of the government code. Time is 8:53. 30?
I think 30 should.
30 minutes, you made me do the math on this one, right?
9:23.
We're gonna say 9:20. We're gonna say 9:20.
Okay.
And after the executive, we'll take a big break, be back here 9:20. The action items from the executive session. And you guys stay here. We're going to the other rooms just for the record.
Point of order, Chair. I got a question on the meeting minutes.
Yes, sir.
On the meeting minutes, the agenda item E5, that was docket 452, that's the case right there. But I was trying to check on the notes, that was agenda item number 6 on the agenda right there, so do we need to change that, or I think we may have one of the item taken out? So that should be G6, that's what is reflecting on our agenda. And also, if I recall,
Hang on. You're talking about the item G6 on the docket, right? Is that what you're saying? That's incorrect.
yes, on the G6, it should be, on the meeting minutes, it should be G6. And also on the PFD, there was a minor correction. And that never reflected on the meeting minutes right there, because probably the motion was that way, to make the correction.
Same item, G6,
G5,
G5.
He keeps saying 6.
Jeff Walter. Case.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Rockstrong. We'll take a look at that and we will bring the meeting, minutes back for you at the next meeting.
All right. Okay, with those modifications looked at, I'm not sure if we'll go back and look at the record. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second,
Right.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We are going to item contested cases, which is item G. Natalie, over there. Is there anyone here for contested case? All right, Doug, I don't see anybody.
Okay, and we have not heard from anyone other than Mr. Watley, so.
Okay, all right. Natalie, good morning. Pay no attention to the man over there. Go ahead. I think you're gonna do items 1 through 4, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
First up is Mr. Brian V. Gonzalez. Good morning, Chairman and Commissioners. My name is Natalie Olvera, Senior Prosecutor with Enforcement. I'll be presenting this case today. The ALJ recommends you deny Brian V. Gonzalez's license application for apprentice electrician license based on Mr. Gonzalez's criminal history. I ask you to adopt the PFD as written. When Mr. Gonzalez applied for his apprentice electrician license, Mr. Gonzalez stated he did not have any criminal history, but because the department runs the criminal checks on licensed applicants, we were made aware of Mr. Gonzalez's criminal past. In June 2024, Mr. Gonzalez pled guilty to 3 felony counts of possession of child pornography. He was placed on community supervision for 5 years to terminate in June 2029. Mr. Gonzalez's child porn offenses are considered a guideline crime for electricians because they involve prohibited sexual conduct and involve children as victims. Mr. Gonzalez was about 21 years old when offense was committed and about 24 years old when placed on deferred adjudication. Although Mr. Gonzalez was fairly young when the offenses were committed, they are not considered crimes of youthful ignorance because of the seriousness of the crimes. Mr. Gonzalez is now a lifetime registered sex offender with a moderate risk level. Mr. Gonzalez stated he stumbled upon child porn while he was interacting with people on the internet and traded child porn with others in messaging apps. Mr. Gonzalez did not offer any evidence demonstrating his fitness or any evidence of rehabilitation. Electricians have direct contact with the general public at private residences and businesses, and situations may arise where a job site includes a facility or a home where children reside or stay for a daycare or school. Mr. Gonzalez may pose a continued threat to public safety if licensed. An apprentice electrician license would also enable Mr. Gonzalez to potentially engage in further similar conduct.
Okay, hang on. I want to make a note of the record that Dr. Callis is back on video, so we're adding back. All right, Doug, go ahead.
I ask again you adopt the PFD as written and deny Mr. Gonzalez's license application for apprentice electrician license. I'm available to answer any questions.
Any questions, commissioners?
Got a motion?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Our motion carries.
Doug Jennings, General Counsel, TDLR, just want to make sure I'm clear on your motion. Dr.
Accept the
Callis.
PFD.
Adopt PFD as written? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
And number 2 for Mr. Stephen Coy Taylor, I believe there was a motion for continuance by Mr. Taylor.
Thank you, Ms. Olvera. Yes, Doug Jennings, General Counsel. Mr. Taylor filed a request for continuance with the Office of General Counsel. And he stated that he would not be able to make it today because of work obligations. And so, we communicated that to enforcement right after that request. And so it's, you may grant or deny that continuance.
Is there a motion?
Can we discuss something before we have a motion, Chair?
Yes, sir.
I really have a problem when somebody asks for a motion of rehearing or continuance or whatever we're doing. We give these respondents ample amount of time. And then on the day, whenever they can either come via Zoom or they can come in person, I think it's something that we as a commission, we want to allow them to have their opportunity to be heard. But if they don't want to show up, I think it's dragging the commission when we should just move forward when we're giving them an opportunity. So I have a problem where we allow continuance whenever the respondent never made an attempt to try to be here via Zoom or in person.
Okay. Any questions for council on this?
Chairman, if I may, in response to Dr. Callis's concerns, we're happy to put together, a recommended policy that states, for your approval and your input, that states the criteria, what we consider when a request for continuance is received, and what the options are for a respondent to appear virtually instead of in person.
Do we have anything right now in place?
Well, when was asked for continuance?
I believe around 2.5 weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken.
Any question?
Yeah, and we have something in writing right now regarding continuance.
We don't have a written policy. We've had just a practice that we have used for as long as I've been here. So probably as long as I've worked on contested cases, nearly 10 years, where when we receive those requests, we let the respondent know that we cannot grant the continuance. Our office can't grant continuance, that we take it to you for a decision. And it seems like it might be a good idea to start to come up with a different process to make it clearer to the respondents, and just to help us navigate these a little more quickly, so we can shave off some of the delay, some of these continuances caused.
Commissioner Joshua.
Thank you, Chair. I think I concur with what Dr. Callis was saying. I think, we go through a business right there. We are volunteers and we take our time to come in to do what it is. I understand 2 weeks. It's about 5 or 10 minutes on virtual presentation would be good right there. But added to the fact that the ALG found that there's nothing, I think, misapplication of laws or rules, and they advise us to accept the PFD right there. So given that what it is, if it is some contentious issue or something, we can and we should be able to understand, but we want to have some safety, whatever the conditions led to this denying right there. We can't have a public threat right there with the person right there. So if you agree, I move to, I think Dr. Callis moved a motion, second denying the continuance.
I didn't hear a motion.
I don't know, we haven't motion yet, so just give me one, if anybody else wants to comment before you make your motion. Anybody else? Okay, go ahead, Commissioner.
So move to deny the continuance.
Second. All right, any further discussion?
Doug Jennings, General Counsel. I just want to be very clear that because we did not extend the opportunity for this respondent to appear via WebEx.
That's clear.
We had not, and that's something that I'd like to discuss in a policy document, is the extent to which we make that option available. But we didn't in this case, and I just want to make sure you're still free to deny the continuance if you choose. I just want to make sure you had all the information.
Sure. If he chooses to come back and appeal, I think, that time you may grant him something, but at this time we got to continue with our business, what we are here to do.
Couple things. One, okay, I want to make sure the commissioners understand that asked was 2.5 weeks ago, right?
Yes.
That's my estimate. I'm sorry, I'll find out the exact date.
Okay, and we didn't offer him a WebEx option, or he was just told he didn't have, right? Is that accurate?
We did not, we simply, let's see, he sent it to us a little over a week ago. And we did not, I'm just confirming, we did not extend the remote option.
Yeah. Did he?
Has that been our policy up until today? We haven't ever offered anybody a WebEx opportunity.
Since,
For any
since kind of the end of the COVID era where we were doing things, pretty much
We
exclusively
have, it's just
virtually.
very extraordinary, extenuating circumstances we've offered it, and it's been very extreme. But the point, I want to make sure that
We're
we
gonna make that change.
right, but the point being is that, he was asking a week and a half ago, right? Will be a little over a week ago, correct? Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and so, the continuance, did he ever give a reason for the continuance?
Yes, he said he had a work obligation.
That was the stated reason.
Could not travel. to
Okay.
Boston.
Yeah.
Chair, I think we do have one more gentleman here who took the opportunity to be on the virtual right there. Fair enough?
Yes, Commissioner Druckstrom, he also requested to appear virtually. And we consulted with chairman and granted that request.
Fair enough. So as long as clear, everybody's clear on facts before we vote. So we have a motion, we have a second, right? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nay. All right, I have it. News denied. All right. Natalie, go ahead.
I'll go ahead and do Mr. Taylor's presentation. Natalie Olvera, Senior Prosecutor with Enforcement. The ALJ recommends you deny Mr. Stephen Foy Taylor's license application for a private property tow operator license based on Mr. Taylor's criminal history. I ask you adopt the PFD as written. Mr. Taylor's criminal offenses span from 2005 to 2023, almost 2 decades worth of crimes, including 5 theft of properties, 2 of which included thefts over 20,000 but under 100,000. 4 possession of controlled substances or attempted possession. 2 failures to identify giving false or fictitious information, 1 forgery of a government financial instrument, and 2 fraudulent use or possession of identifying information. A total of 14 offenses with 11 felonies and 3 misdemeanors. In many of these cases, Mr. Taylor was given community supervision, but the court later revoked Mr. Taylor's community supervision due to Mr. Taylor not being able to abide by the terms and conditions he agreed to for his probation. Although this case involves Mr. Taylor's application for a private property tow licensed operator license, Mr. Taylor previously was licensed with the department as a consent tow operator, beginning in 2013. The license was later revoked by operation of law in 2015 when Mr. Taylor was imprisoned. Once released, Mr. Taylor was again given another opportunity and was licensed as a consent tow operator in 2016, but the license expired in 2019. Mr. Taylor was most recently released from prison in July 2024. Mr. Taylor had several witnesses testify at the hearing. They stated Mr. Taylor has struggled with drugs his entire life, but is making positive changes since his last conviction and release from prison. They stated he is trying to rebuild his life, his outlook on life has changed for the better, and is a hard worker. Mr. Taylor also testified on his own behalf, saying he has been clean for about 1 year and is really trying to make a change in his life. While it appears Mr. Taylor is making positive changes in his life and committing to rehabilitation because of the extensive nature of his criminal history and the multiple opportunities the department has previously given Mr. Taylor, the tow operator license, providing the private property tow operator license, would give Mr. Taylor opportunities to engage in the same criminal activity that he has previously committed. I ask you deny Mr. Taylor's application for a private property tow operator license and adopt the PFD as written. I'm available for any questions.
Any questions? All right, I'll take a motion.
Make a motion to adopt the PFD as written.
A second? Second. All right, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. All right, thank you. Item 3.
Moved on to Mr. Porter. This is for Calvin Porter Jr. Natalie Olvera, Senior Prosecutor with Enforcement. The ALJ recommends you deny Calvin Porter Jr.'s license application for a Class A barber license based on Mr. Porter's criminal history. I ask you adopt the PFD as written. In April 2022, Mr. Porter pled guilty to the offense of unlawful restraint, exposure to serious bodily injury. He was placed on community supervision for 5 years to terminate in April 2027. Mr. Porter's offenses included having sexual relations with a 16-year-old he met through social media when Mr. Porter was about 21 years old. Mr. Porter testified he believed the victim was 17 years old, not 16, And Mr. Porter also testified the victim looked like a young woman, but not too grown. Mr. Porter also acknowledged and testified about his unlicensed barbering work he had been performing for about 5 years prior to the SOA hearing, with his most recent barbering service of cutting hair performed about a week before the SOA hearing. Mr. Porter also admitted he would smoke marijuana while cutting people's hair, but has been recently drug-free. Mr. Porter also stated he knew he needed a license to perform the barbering work, but cutting hair provided him with an income stream for his family. He did enroll in barbering school for a few months in 2022, but dropped out. When asked at the hearing if he was still advertising his barbering services on his social media account, Mr. Porter stated yes. When asked why he hadn't removed the barbering solicitation posts down, even though he knew he needed a license, Mr. Porter stated because those posts were a part of his life. Both of Mr. Porter's parents testified on behalf of their son. They stated they have never had any behavioral issues with him, and he's respectful to everyone. A close friend of Mr. Porter also testified and stated Mr. Porter had become like a father to her children, has never seen any concerning behavior from Mr. Porter. Mr. Porter also testified he was in the process of attending sex offender treatment, but still has about 1.5 years to 2 years left to finish the program. Mr. Porter's offense is a guideline crime for barbers because the offense involved prohibited sexual conduct and involved a child as victim. Barbers have direct contact with members of the public, often in settings with no one else present. The seriousness of Mr. Porter's offense outweighs his useful age. A Class A barber's license comes with no restrictions on it. A licensee can practice in any array of settings in all ages. There are no restricted licenses available in the barbering profession, and the department does not have any authority to agree to any restrictions placed on the license. Additionally, there's no mechanisms in place to monitor compliance with any restrictions. While it appears Mr. Porter is on the right path to rehabilitation due to his recent nature of the offense, and Mr. Porter still having about 2 years left to complete the sex offender treatment, there's not been enough time for Mr. Porter to demonstrate he's been fully rehabilitated. I again ask you to adopt the PFD as written and deny Mr. Porter's license application for a Class A barber license. I will.
Any questions, Commissioner? I'll take a motion.
Chairman, I just ask if the motion is to adopt the PFD, that it be amended to allow a technical change to finding of fact 1 of the PFD to make sure that the respondent's last name is included. That was missing as drafted, so we'd like to correct that.
Okay.
Chair, so move to accept the PFD with the modification to the fact finding number 1.
Second.
Council.
With the name change. I think that's where you're gonna finish with.
Yeah, fact finding 1.
Okay. There's a motion, there's a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Item 4.
Mr. Chad Rice, he did what his case was presented at the last commission meeting. The commission asked that we go back with enforcement, talk about a restricted license with him. Since then, his restricted license agreed order has been signed.
So motion to dismiss the PFD.
Yes, sir.
Is there a motion for that?
Yes, you can move it.
Second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Okay. So, motion carries. Item 5. Jessica. Mr. Watley, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm gonna read you some instructions. I wanna make sure that you understand what I'm reading, okay?
Yes, sir.
We'll hear from the prosecutor first, and we'll hear from you. You'll have an opportunity to speak. Make sure you speak clearly. Say your name and who you represent. Each side will have 5 minutes to speak with a 3-minute rebuttal if needed. Please understand the commission can only consider information that is in the record when the case was heard. So you must limit your blessing. I'm sorry, blessing. Sorry. Whatever limit your blessings. But anyway. So you must limit your comments to those matters that are presented in the SOA hearing. Do you understand, Mr. Wiley, except for the blessing part, what I just read here?
Yes, sir.
Good, thank you for giving me the latitude. All right, Jessica, go ahead.
Thank you. Good morning, Chairman and Commissioners. My name is Jessica Furtado. I'm a prosecutor in the Enforcement Division. The ALJ recommends that you deny Douglas D. Watley's Incident Management Tow Operator License application. I ask that you adopt the PFD as written. The applicant's criminal history extends all the way back to 2012, when he pled guilty to assault causing bodily injury. The court placed him on probation, but later revoked that probation and sentenced him to 60 days in jail. Then in 2019, he pled guilty to theft and was again placed on probation. Because he failed to comply with the terms of his supervision, the court in 2022 revoked his probation and sentenced him to 90 days in jail. In 2022, the applicant pled guilty to felony assault and to felony forgery of a financial instrument. He was placed on supervision for 5 years for both offenses. In 2023, his probation was again revoked and he went to prison. Finally, in 2023, the applicant pled guilty to false alarm or report, a misdemeanor, and was sentenced to 67 days in jail. He was released from prison on September 4, 2024. At the hearing, the applicant testified that he declined to complete any rehabilitation efforts and that counseling is a waste of his time and his money. The applicant testified that he was an adult who could rehabilitate himself. The ALJ notes that the crimes involving assault, crimes against property, and crimes involving fraud are all guideline crimes for the towing occupation. Turning to the Chapter 53 factors, the applicant's criminal history is extensive. 5 offenses, 2 of which are felonies. The ALJ concludes that the applicant's assault offenses demonstrate a propensity towards violence, which poses a risk to the public if he is licensed as a tow truck operator. Additionally, the ALJ concludes that the applicant's criminal history also demonstrates a propensity for fraudulent conduct, which poses a risk to the public who may be vulnerable to fraudulent schemes related to the towing of their vehicle. Finally, the ALJ finds the applicant's explanations for his past offenses amounts to a failure to take responsibility for his actions. The ALJ concludes not enough time has yet passed for the applicant to establish a record of good conduct. And for these reasons, the ALJ finds that the factors currently weigh against licensure and recommends that you deny Douglas Watley's incident management tow operator license. And I ask that you adopt the PFD as written. I'm available to answer any questions. Thank you.
Any questions for Jessica? Commissioner? All right, Mr. Watley, you have 5 minutes. Go ahead and go.
Yes, sir. My name is Douglas Watley. Thank you for letting me be in here via Zoom, Commissioner, and everybody that's in here. I have been out of prison for a year and almost 4 months. I have rehabilitated myself as owning my own company as a mobile mechanic, and also as still helping the record company that I've worked on and off for over 13 years. I also still deal with the police department, sheriff's department, and DPS. They still call me for roadside assistance, knowing that I used to work for a record service. I have been clean. I do not drink. I do not do drugs. I've been no more charges or anything else of the sort. Me not having this incident management has taken a toll on me and my family both, due to the simple fact of I was in the towing field for over 13 years. What I asked from the commissioner and everybody that's in here, that if I can get granted at least one chance, even with stipulation, if possible, that there will be no incidents or any type of problems out of me. I'm asking for just one opportunity and to proceed further in my life, because I really need this to help support my family, because I am still struggling as we speak. I do have a current job opening with the company that I was working for prior, and they told me if I can get my tow operator's license incident management, that everything will be kosher. There will be no issues, no problems. And several of the officers with the Beaumont Police Department have asked that for me to present myself today, to also to hopefully that I can get it, because I was one of the best tow operators in Beaumont that helped with the police department, helping out other people on the side of the road, not asking for money or anything else of the sort, with, of course, with towing operators with flat tires, fuel delivery, jump starts, and stuff like that. And I'm just asking for a blessing from above to hopefully that y'all can issue me this with stipulations. And I promise that y'all won't make a mistake. And that's all I have for y'all, Commissioner.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Watt. Any questions, commissioners?
Yeah, Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna not take a vote on this due to the fact that it's in Beaumont, Texas, and out of respect to Mr. Watley, I'm gonna dismiss myself from voting on this.
You're recusing yourself.
Yes, 100%.
Okay, do you know Mr. Watley?
I know who he is. Yes, I do.
Okay, okay, it's noted. All right, we still have a quorum. Correct, guys? So we're good?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, any questions for Mr. Watley?
No, sir.
No, I don't. Any questions for commissioners? Yes, sir.
Mr. Watley,
Yes, sir.
you know, I understand you're trying to make a change right there, but if you look at it, you have several of those, dating back from 2012 till back now, you know. The question is, I know you want to make a change to yourself right there, but the fact is, we are bound by law right there. Okay, there's no reflection on your efforts to make a change. I think the state is probably trying to make cases for people like you to make a second chance or something, but it's hard when you have so many of those complaints right there in the past with the convictions right there. Tell me how you're going to change right there for future. You said you're not going to make an effort to do this one, but the law is law right there. It's very difficult. So explain to me.
Can you explain a little bit more in detail what you mean by that? Like my background, like the stuff that I've done in my past?
You know, basically you have felony offenses dating back from 22. And I also, you know, pleaded guilty, and confinement for whatever time frame you did. But I understand you're telling that you're going to change or something. This is a public perception right there. So explain your past is what is going to govern what it is with the law, what it took action based on your actions, past previous actions has resulted in conviction right there. So the law is pretty straightforward because we can't interpret right there unless you find a different ways to explain that, hey, I changed, I can work for someone else. And then in good faith, I think, you know, what is that? It's been only a couple of months you've been out and 14 months, I think, right? Is that what it is?
It's 13 months. January of 2026 will make 14 months. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, I read your case pretty much twice and I heard you.
any other questions?
I have a question real quick, if you, Commissioner, if you don't mind.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Okay, so what he was just asking about my change. So basically, so I have been staying low. I haven't been associating with any of the people that I used to associate with that I used to get in trouble with. I've I know this don't pertain to this case. I've recently got married back in October. I have calmed down. I have not stolen anything from anybody. I have been going to church and, you know, get closer to God. And, you know, I've been praying about this since I found out that I was via Zoom, that I could attend this meeting. Money is very tight right now, especially right here at Christmas time. And the whole thing is that I'm just, I'm good at what I do with the tow operator. I still ride with a couple of the guys that work for the company, including the owner and another guy that I've known for about 3 years, and I still help them out on the road on wreck scenes and stuff like that. Uh, the One of the Beaumont police officers that is over the wreckers uh, tells me that I cannot operate or drive a wrecker, but I can still pull chains and help clean up the scenes. I still help out with stuff like that, and I still do the things like I'm supposed to. I haven't, like I said, I haven't been in any trouble since I have been out of prison. And on my background, I've only have 2 felonies, which is an assault charge and the fraudulent check. I don't have any other felonies beside that. Uh, the whole thing is that I'm trying to get this tow operator license so I can go back to work, so I can take care of me and my family. Because right now, I mean, times are hard. There's a lot of mobile mechanics out here, which what I'm doing now. But, you know, tow operators, there's always need of tow operators in my area down here. And like I said, the company that I used to work for, I still help them every day of the week, 7 days a week. And if this can be issued to me, there will not be any problems. Y'all won't have any reports on me or anything else of the sort.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Wiley. Mr. Wiley, I don't weigh in very often, but my comment to you would be that substantiating your behavior outside of your own opinion is important. I know that you made the comment that you're self-rehabilitated. I'm not sure if anybody really can be self-rehabilitated, but to my point, as a personal opinion, that I always think it's valid to substantiate the things that it's good to say something. It's better when somebody else says it for you. And
Yes,
so, documenting those things are important. I understand vocations are people's livelihood, but we have to take in consideration the public as a whole. And statements like just 2 felonies are not something that I would consider a high mark. So just be aware of these comments, okay?
Yes, sir.
Got it. Okay. Any further comments, Mr. Commissioners?
I wanted to ask, are you getting paid since you're helping them right now?
No, ma'am, I am not. I'm actually doing it for free.
Any further questions? I'll entertain a motion.
So move to accept the PFD with the corrections to the errors as outlined. What is it? I think correction, conclusion of law number 4 to reflect that the petitioner received timely and proper notice of the hearing.
Thank you, Commissioner Druckstrom. Yes, that technical change simply changes the word from the word petition to petitioner, just a typo, so thank you.
Okay. Any second? All right. Motion dies, lack of second. Commissioners, any other motions?
Figure out if we want to get some written responses on his character.
I think there's other options that you can consider. This isn't the end of the road in regards to a lot of this. So again, but I don't know what you're president.
Well, I mean, when you were saying about he needs to have written from other people.
May I make a comment about that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, he appeared at the SELA hearing and he had the opportunity to present that evidence to the ALJ. He didn't do so.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other motions?
Well, I'll put the motion back on. We accept it as written with corrections.
Technical corrections. Yeah, I'm assuming you're going to second. You just made your motion, right?
Yeah.
So we have a second. All right. Any further discussion?
I have
All
one
in
more
favor, say
question,
aye.
Commissioner.
Mr. Wiley, can I stand by? Any further discussion? Yeah, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Mr. Wiley, somebody from our office will get with you, kind of this is other options and follow up with you on what other options you have. That's okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, Ms. Wiley.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. Okay, item H, rules. Beverly? Beverly. Good morning.
Morning, Commissioners. Good morning, Chair. I am presenting the amendments to Chapter 60 rules from House Bill 11 that passed in 2025 regarding TDLR license reciprocity with other states. The TDLR Enabling Act, Chapter 51, formally allowed for waiving prerequisites for a license. Person had a similar license in another state that had requirements substantially equivalent to those of Texas, or a reciprocity agreement with Texas was in place. HB 11 added an obligation to maximize reciprocity agreements, to identify laws that prevent us from entering into them, and to accomplish this by creating procedures by rule to determine if other state license requirements are substantially equivalent, and it provides a list of factors to consider and to create the reciprocity agreements. It also has a requirement to report our progress every odd numbered year to the governor and the LBB, including agreements entered into and failures to reach agreement, and laws that stand in the way of reciprocity and changes to them that could be made. The rules were published October 10th, comment period ended November 10th. 5 parties commented with support and also some concerns about defining what substantially equivalent means, the inclusion of the program advisory boards in substantially equivalent decision-making, and how existing requirements will be prioritized. The response is that these rules are guidelines and that minimum requirements that rely on the department's and advisory board's expertise and the informed exercise of discretion, and they added safeguards in these rules so that the effort to increase reciprocity won't result in the sacrifice of TDLR standards or requirements. Only 2 minor punctuation changes were made to the proposed rules, and our recommendation is to adopt with an effective date of January 15th, 2026. And staff and myself are ready to address any questions if you have them.
Any questions, Commissioners? I'll take a motion.
So move to adopt the proposed rules under 16 PSC Chapter 60 as published with an effective date of January 15th, 2026.
We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
No. Item I. Oh, Mr. Ricky too. All right. I got it down here too.
You get a twofer.
I got a twofer.
All right, good morning, Chairman and Commissioners. My name is Charlotte Mulder with TDLR, and it has been a great pleasure of mine to be in charge of the attachment between TDLR and TBVME. Senate Bill 1414 was signed and went into effect September 1 of 2023, and it expires on September 1 of 2027. Since the bill became law, our 2 agencies have worked very closely on implementing quite a few different things, including but not at all limited to procuring a new licensing system for TBVME, interagency agreements, commission oversight, internal audit, SAO audits, strategic planning and public outreach, enforcement reviews, training and shadowing, rule reviews, drafts, implementation of all requirements of Senate Bill 1414. We are now a little over 2 years into the 4-year attachment, and we believe that it is time to flip the script. And by that, I mean, instead of myself and Odie Martinez keeping track of everything that needs to be done, coordinating meetings, making sure deadlines are met, we are now handing that over to TBVME to be in charge of those things, and we will review them so that they are more in line with getting things on their own once the attachment ends. For example, the SAO audit is due on Friday. Brittany drafted all the responses, gave it to Tony Kuvion and I to review. We're in the process of that, and then she will be the one submitting those responses to the SAO. So I will now pass this on to Brittany to give an update on what's going on with TBVME.
Literally in paper to it.
Yes. Commissioners, good morning. Brittany Sharkey, Executive Director of the Texas Board of Veterinary Medical Examiners. As Charlotte alluded, our SAO audit follow-up response is due on Friday. I'm very happy to report that of the 22 outstanding recommendations, 19 have been fully implemented and 3 are currently in process. And those 3 that are still in process really relate to continuity planning, emergency disaster recovery planning, and that was really contingent on the rollout of our enforcement database, which went live in earlier this fall. So wanted to make sure that our plans were reflective of where our database in our new system was, and wanted to get that fully operational before we made those plans. So that is all very much in swing. That is one of the most exciting things that's going on around the agency is the rollout of our new enforcement database. So our licensing system went live in August of 2024. And internally, we have been working on building out our enforcement, inspection, and complaint modules. Those are now all fully operational. Our team is making tweaks kind of as we engage more with the system, but really that system is now fully operational and providing accurate data to the agency really for the first time. So it's a really exciting modernization that's happened in the agency. Also, as Charlotte mentioned, we are in the midst of our rule review process. Our goal is to have that done by the end of this fiscal year. The board rolled out a new version of our licensing, Chapter 571, in October.
we're gonna have 573, that's our rules of professional conduct chapter for review at our April meeting. That's kind of the most substantive chapter. And so our rules committee and our general counsel staff are hard at work making sure that is really up and running. We've also started the strategic planning process in advance of the next legislative session. We actually had a session last week with an external facilitator in our management team, and some really good outcomes came from that session. And we're already actually looking at realigning and reorganizing our internal structures out of those conversations. So a lot of good things and a lot of progress still happening at the agency, and happy to take any questions.
Any questions, Commissioner? You and Dr. Hang on, let's go.
Oh, so sorry.
You and Dr. Gill have done a great job of in as far as formulating, and I know that I've instructed Courtney that as we adopt these agencies, right, and what the conditions are, we always have to have a learning basis. So putting best practices on how you did what you did, right? The problems usually don't change. So if we adopt another agency, those problems may come over. We like to learn. So making sure we document those best practices. I don't see this stopping anytime soon. I'm sure the legislature will come up with something new and exciting for us to take on. So as we adapt these agencies, I really want to have that learning document evolve and make sure to share it with staff. Great job. And so Dr. Fellow, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, item J. Oh. Speaking of adopting.
Good morning, Chair and Commissioners. I'm Nicole Gloria, Transition Special Counsel. Agenda item J is a request for approval of the reprocurement of the lottery operator and services contract. The initial contract period will begin September 1st, 2028 and continue through August 31st, 2038 with one optional 3-year renewal to follow. This is a major contract and will also require commission approval for award, which we anticipate will be in the summer of 2027 or potentially earlier. TDLR staff respectfully requests a vote in favor of this procurement, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Question, Commissioners.
Yes, sir. Miss Gloria, I got a question. You're saying that when this initial term would be from 9/1/2028, correct?
It actually would have a execution on 9/1/27, which is fiscal year 28, for a 1-year transition period.
So are they going to get paid? Because we probably have one vendor till 28 and you're going to have something.
So what is fascinating is that the new, whoever that is, whether it's the incumbent or someone new, is not paid for that year of transition. So I'm sure it is made up later in the contract, but it is not paid for that 1-year transition.
So if I understand that 27 September 1 anticipated contract signing, but 28 is what it is enforceable for the operational purposes of what it is.
That's when it's operational, but I would argue it would be enforceable when they sign it and we sign it, which is in 27.
So the next question is, you said about this contract initial term is for 10 years.
Yes.
And then you said about 3 renewals or something. What is that?
There's a one optional 3-year renewal is anticipated.
So this again is a very tricky for a person like me. Hopefully I'm out by 27 right here. You're asking me to sign off on something when I won't no longer be on this commission. And the other thing, what concerns me is you have a 10-year period right there, and there is no checks and balances right there, because in terms of how are we renewing, typically I understand what was the rationale we picked a 10-year?
So from talking with potential vendors during our stakeholder periods where we were hearing, all of the potential vendors had said that 10 years is what is needed to be able to make up the amount of capital that they have to put into to put potentially all new machines in all the convenience stores, all of the software, hardware, the design of it, all of that. 10 years is what is needed.
So the thing, what I'm trying to get to is, I understand that, typically most of the contracts are 2 years or something.
Right.
And renewable to 10 years or something. Can we look into it, subject to the executive directors certifying that a continuation of the contract or something, rather than putting a blanket 10 years? Or maybe they'll give us a better deal if you give us a 20-year deal, or maybe 100. I don't know.
It is possible that we could talk about different lengths, but I would say that to make you feel better, there are abilities in the contract that is anticipated to be written and is currently in place right now that allows for, if deliverables are not being met, to have some sanctions, liquidated damages. Y'all saw that at the last commission meeting. And there's other options under the contract to deal with non-performance.
See, the amount of contract versus what I've seen, the liquidated damages, that's pale in comparison with what we're seeing right there. So.
Right.
You agree that one?
Well, I would argue if I was the incumbent, I would argue that they're doing a great job. So they didn't need a lot of
Simple stuff.
liquidated damages.
Fair enough.
So I'm giving you the point of view from them. I do think there are substantive sanctions and liquidated damages that are available if whoever the vendor is not, performing as necessary.
See, the rationale of my argument is, you're a council right here. My term ends in 27. I can't be binding future commissions to a contract what I agree upon sometime in 27 or maybe earlier or something. So this is in general right there. That's the reason I'm saying we got to have some provision right there. Every 2 year, the executive director can bring in and the future commissioners can decide what route they want to go or something, but it is unfair for me to bind future commissioners with a contract for a 10-year or whatever the term limits right there.
I think it's two things. One, I think the idea of, if I understand, I want to make sure I understand your question. The idea is you're concerned the binding of future commissions, that occurs all the time. We bind future commissioners all the time with contracts. And so that has happened. However, I understand that you are trying to, and I want to make sure your concern is there is checks during that 10-year period that you would like to understand, and the fear of not being in a position where there's 10-year period, we don't have any recourse if there was issues that are not done. Is that accurate? Is that
fair enough? Fair enough.
Okay, I want to make sure. And that needs to the point with the commissioner, if we can address that with clarity to make sure that long gate period, which is a significant, it's not we're talking 1 year, 2 year, but he is correct. It's a 10-year period, which God forbid if I'm here, but but anyway, the idea is simply that there should be some ideas of recourse associated with that are substantial, and that could be a part of that consideration of that contract. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so I think as long as we make that note to the commissioners, specifically Commissioner Doxerom, those stipulates are in there, I think is important.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
That's my plan.
Okay, good, thank you. Does that qualify or clear out a little bit? Did I miss something, Courtney?
Well, it does, I think. I'm sorry. You're saying?
Chair, Courtney Arbor, Executive Director. I think that the balance to strike is the cost of doing business. And for a statewide procurement with more than 19,000 retailers, you need to have a longer contract to make it attractive and also not drive up the cost for anyone that's going to bid on this project and win the project. So you have to have, and this isn't just TDLR, I think this is a debate across state government. When you have a statewide procurement, your contract terms tend to be longer because of that reason. There is always language in a contract that gives you an out. Even with those longer projects. So there are deliverables and sanctions that are well defined in the contract, and an out clause language that allows, if there were just gross mismanagement or failure to meet the deliverables of the contract, that would allow us to re-procure at any time. So I do want to say that every good contract has language that allows you to pull the plug if you really needed to.
I appreciate that one, but I'm going to counter it with this argument. Ms. Oreo picked up some of those sanctions right there. How often do we see something after a contract is approved on the commission basis, or you sign up the contract? How many times do we get there are internal issues or something we on the commission side will never know or never see anything like that? So I would encourage you all to come up with a mechanism where you can bring it. It's probably the rubber stamp right there, renewal or something. but at least the shortfalls every 2 years, summarize it and bring it up right, rather than a 5-year or 10-year term right there. Some mechanism right there, what goes by internally.
So there is a plan, and that's what you saw this last commission meeting, is that every year you would see the sanctions and liquidated damages that had been assessed.
Okay.
So that is an annual,
I can live with that one. I think that gives the
Right.
commissioners, the future, an opportunity to look into what they want to do. I'm good with that.
Okay, any further questions?
Yeah. So what happens, if the present contract is not given to the company? What happens to their equipment if we choose another?
right, if you choose another vendor, then they would pull their equipment, there'll be a transition period, we'll probably run parallel potentially. There's a big change out.
Is equipment a big part of it in regards to this equipment's better than their equipment vendor wise?
I don't know, we'll have to see what the responses will tell us on that.
The fixed cost associated with this probably is a big component of it, but understand that whatever vendor, it'll probably be updated system.
Yeah.
There'll be updated equipment, no matter who gets it.
I agree.
So
yes.
that's probably gonna
Yeah.
happen with regardless. So, okay.
Can I ask one question?
Yes, sir.
With respect to, are we trying to procure the same mechanism in the contract? I know it's too early right now. Or is it going to be one contract or two contracts or, the best?
I couldn't tell you that.
Okay.
A little early.
So it's too early now to look in, to get into this one. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
That was good, Charles.
Any other conversation? All right, I'll take a motion.
So to adopt.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, Nicole? Okay.
Agenda item K is an informational item regarding the contract review required under SB 3070. I've completed the review of the lottery contracts and I found that 2 contracts were not renewed as the services were no longer needed. 32 contracts have been or should be renewed when the current term ends, and 29 contracts have been or should be re-procured when the current term ends. I'm happy to answer any questions on that.
Questions? We don't have a motion to
It's just a-
Chair, probably down the line, we need to see the discussions more because I don't have anything other than, your internal memo. I haven't seen anything. Would it be possible to see, understand what it is?
Sure.
Maybe a meeting or something?
Sure.
Okay.
We'll talk to Courtney about putting, even if it's not a voting item, to just have some more output of it. And Nicole, I think that the commission is always sensitive, if you will, about dates. And so anything we can do to help give you guys expedite and give you guidance, because I know that you're drinking on fire hose in regards to a lot of this. So let us know. And I know Commissioner Weston is on the lottery, but as we go through this, it is a learning curve. It's pretty steep for everybody, at least on this side of the table. So let's make sure we address any
If we
issues.
pull some of those work group meetings together, we can get this, through and get that information out so that all the commissioners have
That's it.
Sorry, you didn't mean to.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. I think she wants to do it. You got plenty? All right. Thank you. And you're
Sorry.
excused.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Suzanne?
Good morning, Chairman, Commissioners. This morning I have 2 items for consideration and approval. Agenda item N for appointments, reappointments, and presenting appointments for A, the TDLR Advisory Board. The following applicants are recommended for your consideration and action.
You want to L, item
Oh, I apologize. I got it.
item L.
Okay.
Thank
That's
you. You okay?
I'll be fine. Thank you.
Okay. Go ahead, Sandra. Item L.
L is
Oh,
going to be presented by
Rose.
Rose Wheeler,
Welcome.
Director of
Wheeler.
Administration.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is
And
Rose.
just you'll do item L and M, correct?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Good morning. My name is Rose Wheeler. And I'm elated to be here for my very first commission meeting. I joined the agency 6 weeks ago. I wish I could say 60 months ago, but it's 6 weeks ago. And I'm here to speak on 2 agenda topics. The first agenda item is L.
and it focuses on advising about upcoming scratch ticket amendments. This particular set of amendments are $0 cost. And that's simply because the contract allows, or it has a provision for being able, for the vendors to be able to introduce new printing enhancements. And so from that perspective, this is a very standard routine practice. That's the extent of agenda item L.
Okay. Any questions about the paper stock?
Any questions?
Just,
Go ahead.
again, the same thing. You're asking us to approve for the next 10 years, 9 years right there. And is there a provision right there? The executive director can lay hands and say something is not right because what it is there a provision in the contract terms right there?
So these particular sets of contracts, they already are in existence. And what we are advising about today are the actual amendments. And so once a year, there is a provision in the contracts, I should say, that allows for vendors to offer up new options and for this particular for printed enhancements.
This is amendment.
So it's an amendment to the contracts that exist already.
So there is defined contract and just add-ons, whatever it is, that's what is the narrow amendment focus on. That's what you're requesting right there.
Absolutely, Chair, Commissioner.
Yeah.
Go ahead, finish your question.
So this estimated contract cost is about 24 million for 3 of them. Fair enough?
So the current contract cost for these particular contracts is 24 million.
Is it for the term for 12 years or every year?
It is for the term for 12 years.
So it's every year, it's $2 million. Is that fair assessment? Because
That is correct. That is correct.
because on the write-up, it says estimated annual contract cost per year. That should be corrected,
That's
correct?
correct.
Okay. And the other thing is, one last question. I think this may be to Mr. Ray right there. Is this $2 million times 3, 6 million added to the cost of the lottery contract right there? Whatever it is, whatever the fee it is?
Secretary, Deputy Executive Director, yes, this isn't an additional cost. There are two separate contracts. This is the scratch printing versus the lottery.
So what's the total estimated approximate ballpark value of this scratch off, the three scratch offs? Is it of the 8 billion or whatever it is? What is the estimated?
The estimated,
The revenue from the scratch offs.
Revenue for scratch off versus straw.
the revenue for scratch off, coming in every year. One second. Sorry, I'm trying to blank here for a second.
Sorry.
Okay, I want to make sure that we're talking about the same thing. She's offering is
Scratch tickets.
Scratch tickets, right? And there's zero cost associated with this.
Yes.
So this is a zero cost item. So I have no problem with the question, but I want to make sure that what's in front of us on item L is just dealing with this paper stock, which is at zero cost.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, I apologize. I want to make sure.
No.
And overall, 80% of our revenue comes from scratch tickets, so.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you a question down the line.
So yeah, this item is particular, yes.
I was just a little confused. Saying you're going out for bids to try to get stock.
Thank you so much for your question. No, we are actually amending the existing set of scratch ticket contracts.
Okay, so
The contract exists already, and so we're just going to make a modification just in the pricing. It's a $0 cost amendment because there's a provision that allows the vendors to be able to come back and offer up new options for innovative reasons or to keep it fresh.
just curious, who does the marketing for that? Is it all encompassing?
Okay, I want to stay to the item. Just give me a second. We got item L. It's just, and we'll talk about it. If there's a question regarding to this amendment.
Yeah,
let's
she
just
cleared
stay
it
with
up.
Thank you.
Any further questions? All right, I'll take a motion.
So moved.
There's a second.
Second.
Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carried. Item M.
Item M focuses on respectfully asking for approval to issue a proposal for internal audit services. So we are going to, for the first time ever, procure internal audit services for all agency programs, including lottery, bingo operations, as well as licensing and regulation. We know that you all in your capacity have oversight for internal audit services, so we are bringing this particular item to you today.
All right, questions on this item? Yeah.
Yes, Chair. I think again on this one, every year, subject to, the renewal subject to executive director's recommendations to the commission. Is that a fair assessment?
And the recommendations of the audit committee for what is,
Well, that's
what is
internal.
audited? Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
Yeah. One, with 3 1-year renewals, subject to the internal checks within us.
This was come out of concern of making sure that you.
So what I was saying is, I think, they do automatic renewal, but there's no paper trail of how the renewals were done. Whether it is done through the process or something, that's what the question is.
You want to document it under renewal.
That's
Okay.
correct.
Okay. All right. Any other questions on this? I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Doug Jennings, General Counsel, just for clarification, want to make sure that that motion was to approve the commencement of the procurement for internal audit services.
Yes, sir. That was a motion. Thank you, Ms. Williams.
Thank you.
Outstanding job.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So.
Thank you. Item N. I have 2 items for your consideration. The first will be appointments, reappointment, and presiding officer appointments for 8 TDLR advisory boards. The second item that I'll bring forward for your consideration are 2 recommendations for appointments to the Lottery Advisory Committee. The following applicants are recommended for your consideration. On the Dietitian Advisory Board, Allison Childress, Colby Myers, Matilda Jones. For the Elimination of Architectural Barriers Advisory Board, Christopher Beck and Robert McElroy. For the Massage Therapy Advisory Board, Mark Dowenhauer. For the Motor Fuel Metering and Quality Advisory Board, Holt Holcomb. For the Speech Language Pathologist and Audiologist Advisory Board, Robin Telez, Norma Weems, Eduardo Perkin. For the Texas Tax Professional Advisory Board, Matthew Scheel. And for the Weather Modification Advisory Board, Sharon Durham. There is one individual that is recommended for appointment as a presiding officer to the Tax Professional Advisory Board, and that is James Tim Bradlaugh. And there are 2 individuals who are recommended to be reappointed as presiding officers, and they are Stuart Walker on the Code Enforcement Officers Advisory Board and Jason Harris for Motor Fuel Metering and Quality. We appreciate these professionals and members of the public for their service, and staff requests your consideration and action on their appointment.
Any questions, Commissioners? Yes, sir.
I think I understand, Ms. Holt, that we don't have an advisory board conflict of interest and ethics supplemental disclosure forms attached to this one, and there are only 2 applicants who have signed that one.
We now have received all of those forms and supplement to the application.
But they are not put it in our package. Fair enough?
That is correct. They are not in your package. But we can supplement your material.
Since you all vote for it, I don't have any questions.
Any other questions? All right, I'll take a motion.
Make a motion to approve all appointees in block.
Is there a second? Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Second item for your consideration and action is for the first 2 appointments to the Lottery Advisory Committee. They are Deanna Newcomb to fulfill the public member role and Kimberly Kiplin for the position that requires experience with lottery legal matters. We request your consideration and action on these initial appointments. to the committee and anticipate bringing forward additional applicants and assigning terms at your January 2026 meeting.
Any discussions?
Yeah,
Can we-
how many more applications are open on that water advisory board?
Dr. Callis, there are 7 additional
Advisory
Lot.
there are 7 additional spots, and there are currently 28 applications under review, in addition to these 2 that we're bringing forward today.
Thank you.
Chair, can I ask for this to be tabled? The lottery one?
You can make a motion for it, but I mean, if you want to discuss that.
Well, I think, out of respect, I think one has to be, it clearly states that an employee or prospective employee of the department, we have a former general counsel right here applying to be on the advisory board. And I think, she's not a current employee, but she was a former right there. So I don't want the perception or optics that we're picking up something, what it is, even though there's no wrongdoing or anything. So I want to understand a little bit more perspective. Can we pick up a former employee from, from the agency right there, even though it's been 12 years or something? That's a question I think,
Okay, let's address that.
Yeah, Doug Jennings, General Counsel. Thank you, Commissioner Droxaron. In anticipation of the question, we've looked into it, and in Chapter 572 of the Government Code, which deals, and that is the overarching chapter that deals with financial interests, conflicts of interest, state employees defined in a manner that would just include existing employees, not former. And there's no prohibition that we can find on a former employee of a state agency being placed on this committee.
Because the thing is, obviously, there would be a pension being drawn on the state right there. That's the question I was looking at, considered to be a state employee right there with some benefits, whether it's a health or whatever it is right there. That's a concern I had right there.
Okay, I hear you that that person is not going to be considered a state employee for the purposes of this committee, though.
Okay, under the legal advice.
Good noted. Okay. Any other questions? I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, thank you. Executive reports. Barbara.
Regarding our board executive director, we do have a few updates for you today. First, I'll just mention that industry representatives have reached out over the last few months here and there to let us know about concerns about unlicensed activity in their areas in different industries, and the request that TDLR look at new ways of enforcing and make sure that we're doing everything we can under the law to address unlicensed activities. So we have a series of work groups underway right now with staff from compliance and enforcement and general counsel's office and education and from E&E, excuse me, and with the goal of looking to see how much we can do within the law to hold them accountable. We are seeing health and safety concerns and then just general confusion in the market about who to contact for a service for which regulated and licensed professionals are standing by. And so in some cases, we'll be reaching out to members of our advisory boards to gain input and feedback from them and let them know what we're doing there. The other is I just want to mention that our integration efforts continue with the lottery and charitable bingo programs in the administrative areas of the agency, HR, finance, information technology, and so on. We are now starting the process of integrating our policies so that TDLR has one set of policies that every employee knows to follow. That is going to take some time because there's some complexities in our networks and just longstanding policies at both agencies. But the goal is to fully integrate so that we have efficient and coherent policies in each of those divisions. And so, of course, I want to thank Glenn Neal and Nicole for the work, and our deputies and directors who are doing the slow march toward full integration as a much larger agency. And I'll turn it over to Susanna.
I also wanted to send congratulations out to 3 new lawyers that we have on staff and thank the enforcement team for launching a pilot this summer to recruit from our Texas law schools and hire recent grads who successfully passed the bar in October and were promoted from their original classification when onboarded in September, of law clerk to attorneys in November. And so those three individuals are Alana Manzanares from U of H. She graduated from U of H in the spring. Andrew Lisenby graduated from Tech in the spring and took the bar in the summer. And Jeremiah Alvarez is a graduate of St. Mary's School of Law, and they are prosecutors on our enforcement team currently. So congratulations to those new lawyers, and thank you to enforcement. And then since your last meeting, we've onboarded, all of our director vacancies are now full. We've welcomed Caroline Espinosa and Rose Wheeler, who started November 1, and each of them have made a positive impact on their teams, cross-collaborating with staff and contributing to the good work of this transition. Thank you for your support. Steve?
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. Steve Bruno, Deputy Executive Director for Licensing and Regulatory Services, with a few updates. I'd like to begin by announcing that Michael Ford Strawn has been named the Director of our Education and Examination Division. Will you stand up, Ford? I get to embarrass you for a second. Ford is a long-term TDLR employee of about 9 years. He had 10 years of service with DPS. And here at TDLR, he bounces between the compliance division and education and examination. Started out in compliance, then worked in education and examination, then was a manager in compliance, and now is in his position as director of the E&E. And I'm thrilled to say that of the 6 divisions I'm privileged to work with, we now have a permanent director in each one. I'd like to give you an update on our core licensing system replacement project. It continues to move along with intense work every day. We're testing systems, we're gathering requirements for all the various programs that we have. Right now, these early phases continue to focus on building the foundation that'll be similar across all of our processes moving forward. And we're keeping in mind our main goals throughout this entire work, which is a single, secure, and modern system. It's user-friendly for all users, for our external users, and for our internal users, and it'll make our entire process more efficient. So those are the foundations from which we continue to do this work. And I will continue to thank the numerous staff involved every day working on this project. And then finally, yesterday we had a very exciting opportunity. Charlotte Melder and I, along with Stephen Shang from the Industrialized Housing and Building Council and staff from those programs, were able to host a summit where we had a town hall discussion with members, mostly third-party inspectors in this program who play a critical role. And we wanted to talk about some policy changes, some perceived changes that were out there that we clarified what our intention was and set forth a better way to communicate with the industry so that they understand the expectations that we're setting and that we can understand their needs to continue these important projects. The Industrialized Housing and Buildings Program in Texas is a model across the country, and we definitely want to keep it that way. So we're very excited about that, and we had some great feedback, and we committed to continuing those meetings as necessary to continue those discussions and an open dialogue with that community. So those are my highlights, and I believe you have a special presentation that you'd like to make.
Yeah.
Is that right? I would like to welcome, before I turn it over to you, Mr. Chairman.
Hang on, Dr. Callis, I know you're gonna depart, so I know you just hang on a second.
Yep.
Just letting you know that you're good. I think all the voting items are done, so it's just the time agendas for the next meeting, so.
Thank you. I just wanted to let everybody know, the reason why I'm leaving, for full disclosure, I'm running for the Texas State House HD 21, and I have to go meet with the steel workers this afternoon for lunch. The big thing I wanted to do to interrupt, and thank you, Chairman, I wanted to wish everyone a happy holiday, Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year. Also to keep the Australia thing that happened and keep them in your prayers. And God bless you all. And I look forward to seeing y'all at the new year. Thank you, Chairman, for letting me speak for 5 seconds.
4 seconds too long, but I'm gonna go with it. All right. You got it, Doc. All right.
Chair, if I may say, he's not departing, he's supposed to be doing business.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, Mr. Bruno, who wants to give the background on the story? You or Courtney?
Oh, go.
Lisa Castillo is one of our customer service staff, and we made you aware of a situation where she had an impact on a caller who was in great duress. And she took the time in a very, very busy day. I don't remember the number of thousands of phone calls we get in a month, but Lisa took the time to really talk to this customer and hear some of the concern and talk them through a very difficult situation. And so you all had asked that we acknowledge her publicly today. And we asked Lisa, who works remotely outside of the Austin area, to join us today so that we could say thank you to her for her extraordinary customer service.
Lisa, can you hear me?
Sorry, I had to unmute. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Okay,
Yes.
yes. Thank you so much. Fortunately, I wasn't able to get in. I guess as a woman, I really couldn't keep my car intact, but it is sick and down. So I'm sorry that I wasn't able to join y'all this morning.
I'm gonna leave that alone. So good luck with that. But Lisa, it's good to talk to you again. I know you and I got to share, and when I heard the story, I wanted to make sure the commission as a whole, the public as a whole, knew what you've done, and the amazing care that you have. And in this time and age where humanity has lost its way some way, to see the spark is a great. And so I'm going to read this to you. We have a certificate here with Courtney and my signature, that and the Starbucks card for $5 will get you a cup of coffee. So, right, Courtney? In recognition of your care and concern of others during the performance of your duties as customer service agent, and for the listening with heart and ensuring the safety of our citizens and former service member while performing your job and improving excellent customer service, we wanted to recognize you on behalf of the commission. I personally want to recognize you, and also for the specific passion that you have for your job. Thank you so much. We appreciate it, Lisa.
Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. And I'd like to also go ahead and recognize Mr. White was the individual that I was speaking with.
All right, and we will get this to you.
All right, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. All right, Courtney.
Thank you again for that, Commissioners and Lisa. And our last update is from Deputy Executive Director Sergio Wright.
And good morning, Sergio Rey, Interim Deputy Executive Director, Lottery and Bingo. Since our last commission meeting, we began our Lottery and Bingo Operation 101 meeting with you all. Donna Castanuela, Charitable Bingo and Operations Director, and Kelly Stuckey, Lottery Operations Director, presented high-level introductions of our operations and how we function, and our statutes as well. So we look forward to continue our informational sessions with you all, and provide any additional information and our updates as needed. So, and on another front, you may have noticed there's a Powerball jackpot out there. It's now at $1.25 billion. This is the 6th largest jackpot in the Powerball history. So lots of excitement over this, especially around the holidays. So just a reminder, play responsibly. Only takes one ticket to win.
Mr. Ray, you're rubbing in.
You weren't gonna win anything.
Except you cannot play, nor can we.
Not even quick pick.
Go ahead.
Judge General Counsel, not even.
This is more of a public service announcement Sergio's making.
Continue, Mr. Ray. The children come out during Christmas, so let's just move on. We'll get to the questions in a minute.
You gotta be 18 and older.
I didn't understand. Can you repeat again? What was your last thing you said?
Play responsibly. Yes.
Go ahead.
So, from our perspective, from a year-over-year perspective, we are just under 2% of sales compared to last year. So this is a good sign as we continue to support public education and veterans. That is my update for today.
Commissioners, questions? I know y'all had questions earlier, so this is the time.
I'm just speaking for myself, but I hope everybody's had the opportunity for that 101 course, because it was very eye-opening to kind of figure out how this all kind of ties together. And my main comment is I just want to make sure that we're getting the most money going to the schools and the most money going to the veterans, Texas Vet Commission. So that this is really a win for all of us in Texas.
How are the monies paid out?
What money?
Which
money?
As
To
far as
veterans?
Oh, the payout to the veterans of school, she wants to understand.
every quarter, based on the specific scratch tickets that are designated for the Texas Veterans Commission, every quarter we transfer any on the net revenue over to the Texas Veterans Commission, and they have a grant program and they allocate those funds over to through their due process.
Has the Brownsville scratch off or person come forward?
The latest winner from South Texas and Brownsville, that as of this point, we do not have a claimant in the office.
All right.
They do have 180 days from the time to present.
That's their time.
Chair, I think, our licensing, I think, it's a little bit, slow. I think, we see some comments right there on the webpage. And Steve, you may want to tell everyone what's happening right there.
Okay, hey, good question. Is there any more lottery questions, Mr. Ray? Is there any lottery questions? Make sure we.
No, later on, I will ask him the numbers.
Okay, I want to make sure we go ahead. I know you want to go back to it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Is
If
there
you
a
go,
particular program?
if you go on the webpage, I think, Ms. Robert knows about it. I forwarded her. It says due to the holidays, we are
That's
backlogged or something.
for our industrialized housing and building program. Yes, sir. We've got a couple of things going on right there. Like, as I mentioned, we had our town hall yesterday to share some policy changes. We also unfortunately have been hit by a large staff departure. We have 4 vacancies currently right there. So what we're doing is working to ensure that the critical projects are still moving forward with as much time as possible. But because we do have that delay, just in that program, it's specific to that program, which does involve, I would say it's, if not our most complicated, one of the most, with requiring the amount of plan reviews and technical review that is required before these certifications can be given. But we're very aware of it, and it's something that we are keeping an eye on to make sure that we can keep business moving.
So it's only one program, not all
Yes,
of
sir.
the rest.
Yes, sir. That's specific to
That's
that
good to
program.
know about it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Great job on licensing and enforcement. Did you have a question on enforcement, Mr.? No. Okay. Did you?
I think on the enforcement, what Mr. Bruno is coming up right there, trying to show, apparently it shows that, don't want to say the numbers, but probably 18,000 or something.
We have a lot of.
Yeah.
And I'll be happy to meet with commissioners one-on-one to talk about any of those reports, but in general, what it shows is, the complexity of work that takes place in the enforcement division. The difference in work, say, compared to issuing a license versus investigating a case. I was sharing a constituent case. We heard from a constituent who was concerned. I believe there had been an electric generator installed in the home and there were some concerns about it. So a typical investigation, this is very reflective. It was, they had some concerns about the contractor shared some concerns about the homeowner, and it's a 40-page document to review. And to me, it highlights the beauty and the seriousness with which we take these cases. We do have a prioritization system so that harm to health, potential death or injury, those are obviously the most serious, but in addition, we have cases like that where consumers are concerned about the quality of the work that they received. And the most important thing that I've learned from the team is that an investigation leads where it leads, and we don't always know where that is. In this particular case, I believe the homeowner had 5 or 6 witnesses, and the contractor as well had 5 or 6 witnesses. So it requires time to gather that information, to share their stories and hear their stories. And that's just reflective of the work that goes into these cases. But I'm excited to share that information with you all. And again, happy to meet with you all to go over anything.
I think you have some 21 cases. If there is something can be done on the 2021 to expedite those, that would be great. So that's your stuff, because I don't see on the licensing right there hardly anything pending right there. So that's a good job on the licensing. So with your oversight, hopefully we'll try to see a reduction on those enforcement cases.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Castaneda?
I think it was for Courtney's line. Can we switch over now to Courtney?
Sure, sure.
Courtney, you said there was, several, locations, I suppose, that are practicing without licenses. How did we find that out, or who are they? What particular licenses?
Thank you for the question. The industry often tells us, or a member of the public who has unknowingly used an unlicensed provider, or may just see somebody advertising on Facebook Marketplace or something like that. So the complaints come to us from a number of sources. And then staff looks to see what authority we have to take action and if we have enough data in order to take action. Sometimes a marketplace ad is taken down by the time we find it. It just gets so complicated. The work groups that we have in place right now are focused on barber cosmetology, electrical, and AC. Tow VSF is who we've heard most from because cars are damaged, seriously damaged. And we have a lot of data to show that that's a pretty rampant, unlicensed activity. And other groups, Steve? Used auto parts recycler is one that we're recently adding because we've heard that that's the primary complaint that comes in, or that we're made aware of. But those are some of them. It's a fairly widespread issue across license types, but those are the industries we hear from most often.
Any questions? How's the Oster program going, Mr. Bruno?
Oh, good.
Any meetings?
Good. We had our initial one and we are awaiting to schedule any follow-ups with Eric.
Excellent. Good to hear. All right. Anything else? Courtney, you good?
That's it.
All right, next meetings is gonna be item P. I know that we tried to plan out the year. As you all know, the year has its own mind. So these are the dates for the meetings that are set. We've vacillated between Tuesdays and Thursdays, right, Marisa?
Yes.
So we will be meeting, next meeting where?
Bush building.
Bush Building. So there'll be some logistics moves that we're gonna be downtown, so there'll be logistics that we're gonna have to work out, so make sure commissioners follow up with Denise on that.
What time? Is it the same 8:30?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, right there, you gotta have some security, I think, whatever it is.
We'll work on the security.
Yeah, gotta be a little bit early, can't come in at 8:25 and walk into the building.
I will happily scold all the commissioners.
Thank you.
I love doing that. Yes, you hear that? Commissioner Dr. I want you to be here early. Anyway, so the dates are there. I know they may be fluid, so we'll let you know, changes happen. So especially two of our commissioners are running for office, so I know politically a lot of moving parts. But anyway, I'll take a motion, set those dates.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carried. Anything else, Courtney?
Nothing else? Thank you.
All right, I will take a motion. Oh. Have a Merry Christmas, guys. I know, and Happy New Year. I know it's been a heck of a year. We've had some presents that are extraordinary, and the gifts are keep coming. So I appreciate the effort that you guys have done. I know that it's been transition time for a lot of people, and I appreciate the staff's effort on this thing. It doesn't go unnoticed. And believe me, it is noticed, and it is very much so, especially the acquisition of lottery and bingo. We've become more public, which has never been our goal. We've always been quiet, giant behind the scenes. I appreciate the effort, appreciate the staff, your staff, and what you're doing. I know the commissioners, thank you guys. You've absorbed a lot. It's the bandwidth and knowledge is high. So thank you guys for what you do, and God bless you guys. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.